much, guys. Good to see you all. All right, I'm going to play a tape of the Anointed One, the Messiah, the great communicator with a teleprompter, Barack Obama, and let's play his gaffes. And just imagine this was George W. Bush, ladies and gentlemen. If this was Bush, what would the media be doing? I bet you have not seen most of this. Let's roll the tape.
It is just wonderful to be back in Oregon, and over the last 15 months, we've traveled to every corner of the United States. I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. On this Memorial Day, as our nation honors its unbroken line of fallen heroes, and I see many of them in the audience here today. Everybody knows that it makes no sense that you send a kid to the emergency room for a treatable illness like asthma. They end up taking up a hospital bed. It costs, you gave them treatment early, and they got some treatment and a breathalyzer or an inhalator. It was also interesting to see that political interaction in Europe is not that different from the United States Senate. There's a lot of, I don't know what the term is in Austrian, wheeling and dealing. Sorry, I just noticed that I jumped the gun here. Go ahead and move it up. I'd already introduced all you guys. Welcome, the Cinco de Cuatro. Cinco de Mayo at the White House.
Yeah, okay, Cinco de Cuatro, so something like that. But look, 57 states, he doesn't know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, a breathalyzer and an inhalator. By the way, they don't have that Austrian language that he's talking about. So, I mean, if George Bush had said these things.
Listen, George Bush was an honest man. He was a good, decent president. And what is considered to be the greatest act of perfidy in American history, the media did not vet this candidate. We rely on our media to vet our candidates. And you're seeing the product of a man who has absolutely a media that is completely on the tool of the Democratic Party. It has become indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
I certainly wish it was, but it sure as heck is not. You know what? You know what this show's showing? In your introduction, you said he walks on water. You've said this over and over again. He turns water into wine. I've been around him quite a bit. Unfortunately, he doesn't do that. But it looks like a mere mortal dismantled the permanent Rovian Republican majority. He's a mortal after all, and he destroyed the Republicans.
George Bush, well, fair enough. You could take your shot. You won. We hear it every day. But here's the point. George Bush was, on a daily basis, beaten up by the press if he misspoke ever. Now here, this guy without a teleprompter is just, he can't handle it. He does not speak well without a teleprompter, but everyone has this impression he's a great speaker.
No, I completely disagree with that. He is a very articulate president. But look, let's be honest about the news media, Sean. When you're riding high, they're with you. When you're down low, when the American people have abandoned you, and George Bush was at 25 approval, then they pick on you. That's the media for you.
You know what, if he was a football player, they'd have killed him.
It's the big leagues.
Well, it may be the big leagues, but he's looking like he's still in college. I mean, how does a president speak like that and get away with it when George Bush, all he had to do was make a little mistake and they were all over him? The one thing that was good about George Bush, at least he laughed at himself. I don't think this one can laugh at himself.
He took 25 teleprompters with him to Europe.
Yeah, 20. What is that?
Did you ever see Bush with a teleprompter ever? He was a plain-spoken man.
No, he did use it during the State of the Union, but he didn't carry it everywhere. He used his notes like Reagan used his notes, and Clinton. Look, I got to tell you something. I was probably better than all of them put together.
We need all those teleprompters for all the Bush policies he's changing.
It's cute lines,
spinning it out fast.
But I'm telling you, why can't he? He can't even give a press conference without reading now for the teleprompter out in front of him. I mean, does he ever not use a teleprompter?
That's the opening statement. He answered the questions for an hour. He's already had more he's already had more press conferences than Bush did in 2 terms.
What have you found enchanting in your first 100 days in office? That was a really tough question. I got to tell you, I'm impressed. All right, let's move on. Chris Dodd says we prosecuted